This tiny moving part in your receiver can make your hearing aids feel open and natural and then automatically turn into a sealed, noise-fighting hearing aid in an instant. And it might just be the smartest acoustic trick that Phonak have ever built. Most hearing aid users don't realise that they're forced into a difficult trade-off. Open fit domes feel natural but leak sound and will cause you to struggle in noise, whereas a closed fit gives you way better hearing in noise and better streaming, but can make you experience what we call the occlusion effect, making your own voice sound boomy, blocked and echoey. So in this video, I'm going to share with you today 5 truths about ActiveVent. And that includes a few different things. So first of all, exactly how ActiveVent works and when it switches, who it's made for, plus the real world issues and complaints that nobody talks about. And then you can figure out whether it's worth the hassle. In fact, I've just thought of one extra thing to add. By the end of today, I will also give you a simple checklist of what to ask your audiologist before you spend a penny. Now for context, I run an independent clinic in London and fit all major brands. So I'm not here to sell you anything whatsoever. I'm here to tell you what works and what doesn't work in patients' ears. Have you ever wondered why 2 people can wear exactly the same hearing aid and one person loves it and the other hates it? Well, there are many reasons why, but one of the big reasons is because the acoustics are everything. The moment you choose open versus closed domes, you're deciding how much sound bypasses the hearing aids completely and how much enters your ear canals naturally. Well, what if your hearing aid could be both open and closed automatically? So my first truth today is that ActiveVent isn't software, it's a physically changing vent, and that's why it's so special. The small piston moves between open and closed positions, controlled by Phonak's AutoSense operating system. Truth number 2 is all around background noise. If noise is leaking straight down your ear canal, hitting your eardrum and going into your auditory system, no amount of artificial intelligence can clean up sound that doesn't travel through your hearing aid. The reality is, in a truly open fit setup, a significant amount of sound hits your eardrum without being processed, so your noise reduction and directionality are fighting a losing battle. However, there is a solution. When ActiveVent closes in noisy environments such as a restaurant, it blocks more sound directly entering your ear canal, ensuring that everything you hear is via the hearing aid, which will have applied all of the clever, incredible noise reduction technology to improve your speech understanding. So the second truth today is that open versus closed setups are the real reason why you struggle in background noise, even if you've got AI built into your hearing aids. ActiveVent can be brilliant, and I reiterate that, can be brilliant, and I have a lot of patients using it. However, for the wrong person, it can be a disaster. Now, what do I mean by that? Phonak describes ActiveVent as suited for mild to moderate hearing loss and is not recommended for clients with tinnitus, hyperacusis or phonophobia, or with excessive wax, or that have had moisture-related issues with previous hearing aid technology. Plus, it's also worth mentioning that it's not recommended for those under 18 as it hasn't been validated for children. So in practical terms, if your ears are waxy or wet, it can interfere with the moving mechanical system and result in prematurely killing the receiver. Or if you're sound sensitive, so suffer with hyperacusis or phonophobia, you may be very aware of the switching sensation and the change in occlusion might be irritating for you. And then finally, if your hearing loss is severe to profound in the high frequencies, then there is a greater chance of experiencing feedback when the vent is in its open position. So my truth number 3 is that candidate selection is everything, and Phonak literally warns against certain profiles in its documentation. If you try ActiveVent once and you think, yeah, it was alright, then you may have only tried the trial version. You see, ActiveVent can be fitted in 2 different ways. Firstly, with the universal slim tip AV, which is made of silicone and it's designed to be temporary or for demo options, or as a custom titanium slim tip, which is custom made to the shape of your ear. In reality, this technology is only as good as how snugly it fits in your ear, and users often describe the titanium as more stable with a better steel, and it gives you a better overall experience because of its tight fit. So the 4th truth today is that there are 2 coupling routes, demo silicone versus proper titanium, and people notice the difference. If you're going to try it, you have to go all in. That's my opinion. Now for the part of today's video that nobody talks about, ActiveVent's real-world issues, and this will help you to decide whether you'll love this tech or you'll hate it. Firstly, starting with the click. It sounded better in my head. Some users, in fact all users, describe the switching between open and closed vent as annoying, especially those with enough low frequency hearing to notice the mechanical action. So if you're the kind of person who notices everything that your hearing aids do, this may well be a little bit overwhelming for you. Now, I found two solutions for this personally. The first step is awareness. I prep all of my patients to know that they will hear a clicking sound, which has meant that the acceptance rate has dramatically improved simply because they know what the hearing aids are doing. Alternatively, some patients like to activate it manually instead, and with some clever adjusting, we can organize it so that you can turn on and off the ActiveVent, which then puts you in the driving seat, so you know exactly when you'll hear the activation, and it doesn't just happen randomly when you walk into a noisy restaurant. Now, the second potential issue comes down to durability and maintenance realities. Compared to traditional receivers, the receivers may need replacing more frequently, which is mainly for hearing aid users that have more wax in their ears. Plus, when changing the wax guards, the receivers can dislodge from the molds, which means revisiting the audiology clinic to have it repaired. Yes, it doesn't need to go back to Phonak HQ, but it's still an inconvenience that I've seen on numerous occasions. At the beginning of today's video, I promised you a decision guide on whether or not you should go ahead with ActiveVent, and that I shall deliver. So, you are a strong candidate if you have a mild moderate hearing loss and bounce between quiet and noisy environments often. If you hate the block tone voice feeling, but you also hate struggling in noise. If you stream a lot and want a more sealed, richer and fuller sound coming from your phone. However, I would be cautious if you have significant wax or moisture issues, you're very sensitive to internal sounds or mechanical sensations, i.e. the click, or you have more of a severe to profound hearing loss in the high frequencies. And if you want to learn more about the best hearing aids that you've got access to today, check out this video.